This is a test of the Boundary Park alert system.
Hello and welcome to Series 4, Episode 17 of the Boundary Park Alert System podcast with me, Andy Halliwell, and I'm joined this morning by, I can't think of a man less deserving of the nickname or the moniker Sexy. Good morning, Dave.
Hello. Good, all good. Yeah, cool, sexy, suave, educated. I've just got it all today. It's good stuff.
You were there yesterday, weren't you?
Yeah. It was a hard watch. Yeah, it was frustrating. Absolutely soul destroying at times. Freezing. I think the atmosphere was a bit flat as well. It was a strange atmosphere yesterday. The crowd didn't really get going at points until we scored. And the refereeing performance was turgid as well. So we had it all. A classic.
Let's come back to that. We have our usual fan guest on this morning, but our fan guests, we have a double act. They come as a pair. Let's see. I'm going to ask the ritual introduction questions, and you see if you can work out as go along. So, gentlemen, when was your first game?
Oh God, mine must have been 99. I'm going to say. Couldn't tell you who we were playing, but it was. I was in the Lookers paddock, freezing, and it was the first game I ever been to. So certainly stuck with me. But 20 odd years later, might slightly regret it at the moment. But I couldn't tell you who we were playing or the result. So I just remember the atmosphere.
When was yours?
Mine, I'll be honest, I've absolutely no idea. And I did mean to ask my dad, because I'm sure he'd know. But I don't. My earliest recollections of him, I remember being in the box one year, and it was when Luke Beckett played for us. So that was about 2005-ish, 2004. But I remember the first players I remember were Clyde Wynard and Luke Beckett. And I've got a signed programme from him somewhere in a frame. So that was my earliest memories of Latics. My granddad did try his best to take me to United a few times, but for some reason I chose this, and here we are now.
Well, it's dating you both, isn't it? This both relatively recent starts. You've not had much to enjoy over that time. Who were your first favourite players?
Mine was Corazon.
Carlo Corazon.
Was it?
Yeah.
I think mine was Clyde Wynard. Very early on, from what I can remember. Yeah, I remember my dad coming in one day, and the telly was on. I think Clyde Wynard had scored a hat trick, and I'd come in, and my dad had come in, and I'd said at a young age, I'd said something I'd seen, and my mum's come in and gone, "He's got that from you." But Clyde Wynard could score a hat trick, so I wasn't really bothered. I don't think.
What's your favourite Latics related memories?
I think Liverpool will still always be up there. I think for me, a lot of them have been away trips. Like going to the first time we went to Leeds, 3-0 up at half time. The atmosphere was just epic. But I think Fulham was still up there with one of the best. I know it was recent, and I know for a lot of the younger lot that still sticks to them as well. But I just thought that even the football, I just thought it wasn't like Liverpool where they could have absolutely battered us. But I thought Fulham, we gave them a right good game. I thought the travelling support was just incredible. And that to me, probably one of the best ones we've had.
For me, like you said, Liverpool and Fulham are up there. But for me, it was probably my first away game. And that was Bury away in 2013 when Matt Smith scored in the last minute under Lee Johnson. And I remember, I was only 12, but I remember coming back from the toilet and we was in the stand, not the one with the corner on it. We was behind the other goal. And as I'd come back from the toilet, I stood at the very end of the stand and just caught the goal going in. I managed to sprint the full way across. And there's a YouTube video somewhere you can see me in a bright tangerine top sprinting the whole way across.
Yeah, that was a cracking day that I was at that game as well.
Yeah.
That was we needed that to stay up, didn't we? And that pretty much
Yeah,
them to go down. We had about 500-600 locked out because in their infinite wisdom they didn't make it all ticket, and it was a right faff. Yeah,
it was there was fans in the old end as usual, weren't there? So
yeah. And then a little unknown fact about yourselves. Well, I mean, it's got to be the fact now. It's not little known, but you two come as probably two of the most prominent and well-known Athleticos in the ground. So if I get your surnames right, Ryan Hamer and Cameron Whitworth.
Oh, he nearly got yours. He nearly got yours.
What is it?
Green.
Ryan Green, that's it. I knew.
Ryan Hamer. Ryan Hamer.
It's not Ryan Hamer, is it? Yeah.
No,
Ryan
Mr.
Hamer.
Happy.
I said it. Yeah. But anyway, welcome, gentlemen.
Thanks for having us.
When was your first game as the Athleticos?
I think we played maybe Crawley at home back in 2012. We obviously used to be situated up in the Rochdale Road end in top corner where the away fans used to be in the small section. And there was a big group of us there already. And obviously we started seeing what was going on in Europe and seeing all the flags and the atmospheres and how organised it was, and thought, well, it can't be that difficult. So why don't we try and replicate that? It didn't take us too long to get banned from the club because they didn't like the idea. They didn't like the organising idea of it all. And obviously they heard the word ultras and, didn't want anything to do with it. I thought, so that's where I first met Barry Owen, which was obviously quite an interesting conversation. I don't think I've been on his Christmas cards since then. But yeah, I think it took us about a year and a half before we managed to come back after that. And we managed to get it set up for, I think it was Newcastle and a friendly we had at home. And yeah, since then we've been there. Obviously we've had, I think 4 or 5 homes by now. But yeah, we seem quite settled in Armadale Block now. So it's been 11 years in total now. I've seen you, especially Ryan, on all sorts of grounds up and down the country over the years. And I remember you in the early days when it was, George Parkin was quite heavily involved with you in the early days when he top off. And I'd always come over and shake you by the hand because I thought that it was great to encourage you. I know a lot of people in the beginning, you must have come across a little bit of negativity from some areas of the fan base. But I think now you would probably be in a position where the vast majority are really welcoming and really glad that you're there. But it must have been a tipping point at some stage where you realised that you were onto a good thing. When do you think that would have been? I wouldn't say too long ago. I know for over the 11 years, we have had a lot of support from people. And we did get in the first instance that we knew it's something new. And we know how traditional football is, and we know people like it, like the usual match day experience. As unfortunately at the time, I think as poor as it was, it just needed a bit of life back into it. Whether it was something that not everybody wanted, it just needed something to a bit of a kickstart the atmosphere back at Boundary Park. But I think over the years we've always had really good support from everybody. It's like I said, it's not everybody's cup of tea, and we got that. But I think recently, the togetherness of obviously the protests against Abdullah, it wasn't just from our part, it was from other fan groups' parts that we all worked together. And I think that's where we did see a big turning point. But I think it was more the fact that, we were seeing other fan groups working together we've never needed to, but it was the fact that we all managed to all work together really well. Obviously got the outcome that we all wanted. I think we all did a really good job in the end. So I think everybody could see that, and I think everybody could see we're all trying to work for the benefit of the club. Obviously, during that season, there wasn't the best atmosphere. It was, really hostile. It wasn't the nicest place to be. I'm not saying the football was any better to watch while you went, but from our side, we really wanted to create the atmosphere. So I think for the first time, people could see that yes, we were there for the atmosphere, but sometimes we've just got to all bunker down and really get stuck in. And sometimes, over the years, we've always listened to the club and tried to work with the club, whether they agreed with us or not. And we've really been hampered down by that a lot of the time. So I think this would be the first time that we kind of turned around and went, right, we're not listening to you now because something needs to be done. And we're not pushing over this time. So I think from our side, we definitely seen it during the protest season where people really got on board with what we were trying to do. And, at least we were going to be that voice for everybody.
Yeah. I mean, for me, you're an absolute credit to the club. Your husband behaviour's great. The way the numbers have grown. So you started out literally about 10 of you, didn't it? I think in the early days.
Yeah, not far off. Yeah, about 10 or 12 of us. So
how many have you got now in that block?
I think the block's about 500-600, Cameron.
Yeah, the block's 600, but we know you know the same faces that come in week in, week out, and we've probably got about 2 or 3 rows that we know personally, I'd say now. And to be fair, they're all the younger lot, really. Like, you get quite a bit of the older lot on the back, but I think it does help us that we've got the younger lot, because that's the future of your club. So even if we did get the older lot right behind us, like we do at away days, the kids that are coming watching us rather than watching City and United. I mean, nobody wants to watch United now anyway, but same principle goes. It is nice to have a bit of a mix, and sometimes we turn around and there's a couple of empty seats, and we sort of have to check ourselves, well, no, where were we and where are we now? And we just enjoy it every week now. It's great that we can turn around and we know we've got a proper, real good group going, and obviously the to the side of us as well, which really help.
Yeah. I think it's always a great visible display. The way you choreograph everybody as well and get everyone going. I think, and you're right, there are so many young faces at games, which is great to see. Because imagine if we just get on a decent run at some stage and that swells a bit. You've managed to grow this and attract this when we're at our lowest ebb ever.
I think we'll give up when we get to the Premier League, because if we get to the Premier League, I'm going there. I've had it. That's the journey done. That's us done.
You'll be 60 by then.
I'll retire then. We've already said when we retire, we're going behind a box and sitting with Frank and the family.
Yeah.
Well, didn't Frank say that when he first came, he was interested in the club? He came with Darren against Leyton Orient when we beat them 2-0, didn't we?
Yeah, 2-0.
And he said that the atmosphere he didn't realise the actual passion that the people had for the club. And I think, you guys deserve a lot of credit for, obviously there was other factors for Frank buying the club, but you're a big influence on his decision, which, a lot of people don't really appreciate you guys for. So I think you've got to give yourselves a big pat on the back for that. And, you should be getting a lot of kudos from the fans when they see you, because, you were a big factor in Frank making his decision.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, we're almost 15 minutes into this. We barely talked about yesterday, other than Dave giving us an intro. On the Athleticos story, I've always thought, and I'll say this now, I think that there should be the ability to sponsor an Atletico. So there'll be, how many young people out there in Oldham who parents don't go? They're either United or City fans, and they don't go to United or City. They're kicking about on a Saturday afternoon with nothing else to do but get in trouble, probably. Sit in park, booze, whatever they're doing. But they can't afford a season ticket or to go to the match. I'd sponsor an Atletico, no problem. I'd buy a season ticket for an under 18-year-old to come and sit with you guys in that block. But it needs to be done through some sort of formal process. So either through the foundation or through the club. Because if we swelled that number, got more of you in there, they'd have to sign up to some sort of code of conduct, not allowed to misbehave, or they're not allowed to do X, Y, Z. But so long as they're prepared to do that, then I'd buy a season ticket for a kid in Oldham, maybe even 2. Just because you think if we can swell those numbers even further and make it even more of a daunting atmosphere for other teams to come and play in front of. So I think there's plenty the club and the foundation could think about doing to bolster that. But yeah, no, absolute credit. Anyway, let's get on to the game yesterday. You were all there. Dave's briefly given his synopsis. What did you two boys make of it?
Well, I won't ask Ryan because he never watches it. He's too busy doing something else, isn't he? So
what do you make of it?
I just have to poke him when something happens. Like, hey, Ryan, turn around. We've conceded another penalty.
What do you make of it?
I thought we've started very brightly. First 10 minutes, I thought we looked really up for it. We pressed well. We seem to have the ball a lot more now. And then there was a bit where McGay sort of went about 30 yards, 40 yards, just chasing one lad and then won the ball back and just shoved him out of play. And I thought, well, we've been wanting this for weeks. And then I just, like, even though we still had more of the ball, we never really looked like we were going to create anything. And our only really creative outlet was, and it's like this most of the time, it's kitchen, really. And then I think the penalty decision just sort of knocked it out of us, and we never really got going in the first half again. And it was just the same sort of, not going through the motions, but we looked like we were trying too hard, like trying to be too intricate. Like there was a pass that Gardner made for Norwood that just went miles. Like Norwood made the completely other run, and it was like we're trying too hard here. And then we come out in the second half, and again we looked a bit better and changed. It looked like he changed the shape. It looked like to me he'd gone to a 3-5-2 or whatever he was trying to play. But I don't think Eastleigh offered much. I don't remember Hudson having to make a save. And then we got the goal, and then from there on, we had, I think in the second half, we had at least 2 really, really good chances to put the game to bed. Reed had one before he scored, and then Willoughby right at the end. I think it's just a shame, really. It looks like he's lacking in confidence, but it's the only change I can see at the moment is we seem to be looking to keep hold of the ball more, so we're having more possession, but we need to start doing something with it now. Like, it's great we're having 55-60% of the ball, but where are we going with it? Like, and teams can suss us out quite quickly. The fact that if they mark Kitchen out of the game, or when Green's on to get him out, we seem sort of stuck. But I think we've improved slightly, but it's gonna take it's gonna take a while. He's had 5 games now, and just frustrating sometimes. That's all.
Yeah. So you did a fans only yesterday, Dave. Should we have a listen to what some of the fans were thinking before the match?
Yeah. Hi, I'm just here. What's your name, pal?
Dan.
Dan, what? Now you're on the world famous Boundary Park Alert System fans only with Sexy Dave Bradley.
Hey.
Hi, Dan. What do you think of Mellon's start then? 4 games in.
Average, really. Not great, but not too bad.
So you're happy with the appointment then?
Yeah, he's got to improve, but we're okay so far.
What do you think he needs?
He needs a midfielder, and he needs a bit of pace in the side, in my opinion.
And with Ben Tollick going, do you think that makes room for someone to come in? Would you be open for that?
Yeah, definitely. Someone with a bit of pace and a bit of guile, really. Yeah, hopefully.
What score today then against Eastleigh? They're near us, aren't they, today? So what do you think?
2-1 Latics today.
Who's going to score?
Norwood 2.
Right, good stuff. Hi, I'm just here. What's your name, pal?
Jacob.
Jacob Hare, yeah?
Jacob Palalone.
All right, apologies. Okay. What do you think of today then? What do you think the result will be?
1-0 Latics.
Who's going to score?
Dickinson.
Dickinson. Right. What do you think of Mellon's start? Are you happy with his appointment?
Yeah.
What do you like about his style of play compared to like the likes of David Unsworth?
Quite good, yeah.
Yeah. And who's your favourite player been this season?
Norwood and Dickinson.
Norwood and Dickinson. Do you think Norwood will get one today?
Don't know.
Well, I hope you're wrong. Thanks very much, mate. Cheers. Thank you. Hi, this is Sexy Dave with 2 lovely ladies on the fans only, and they're both giggling like schoolgirls. Not in that way. What's your name, love?
Angela.
And what's your name?
Ruth.
So, what do you think about... I'm going to come to you first, Ruth. What do you think about Mellon's appointment? Do you think it was needed?
No. No, I think we should have kept The ones that were winning? No, the team that were winning.
Thompson and Redford?
Yeah, definitely.
Right. So, are you impressed with his start, Mickey Mellon, at all?
No. It needs to improve. No.
What do you think needs improving?
The team? No, they don't seem to play.
Do you think it's the players, or do you think that's the coaching?
A bit mixture of both, really. I mean, it's as though they've lost the will to play and keep just passing back.
When it was Thompson,
yeah,
totally differently. Yeah. You could see them, and the team sort of like engaged with the manager, with Thompson, and they're not doing that now. They've gone back to how it was with Unsworth,
really?
Kicking back, and they don't seem to know where to. Yeah, they're missing something.
So we've got Eastleigh today. What's your predictions?
Hopefully a 2-1 win for us.
I was going to say the same as the Twins. So
who's gonna score?
Reed.
If he plays. He's not been on.
And Norwood.
Norwood.
Yeah.
And it's same for you, yeah?
Yeah.
Right. Well, thank you, ladies, and have a great game. Thank you. Take care. Hi, I'm just here with Gary Brown from OAFC Veterans. You want to tell us what it's all about, Gary, obviously?
Yeah, well, today, obviously, Remembrance. Remember our fallen, but the Great War, First World War, that's what it's all about. But then there's been subsequent wars thereafter and conflicts. So as you can see today, we've got the Air Cadets, we've got the Army in attendance, we've got the Air Force in attendance, a lot of veterans as well who've served in conflict, and it's about all coming together today.
And what does the group do? Obviously, I know Remembrance Sunday is obviously Remembrance Sunday for what it is. But what does the OAFC Veterans Group do outside of this? Obviously within the group and the community of Oldham Athletic fans.
Yeah, well, myself and Steve, former RAF, we've served as well. We've served in conflicts as well. So we understand, and what we're doing, we're offering a respite, friendly environment for ex-forces or current forces to come and say hello, pull up a sandbag, tell their stories. And it's absolutely fantastic. We've helped people with depression. We've helped people come out again and tell their story against people who understand. It's absolutely fantastic.
It's a bit like a therapy, isn't it?
It's fantastic. We've helped so many people. We've got people here who've been in the forces, been coming to the club for 3 years and sat on their own. Yeah. Now they belong again. We've had wing commanders come who've flown helicopters into the stadium. Yeah. They back our group up.
So have you got a website or anything like that we can promote for the podcast, please?
We haven't got a website, but we are on Twitter X. Yeah. X now it's called. Yeah. We're on Facebook. If you're a veteran or current armed forces, get in touch and be our guest on the day and come and watch a good game.
Gary, thanks very much, mate.
Thank you very much.
Some people there are really delighted to see you, Dave. It would appear.
Well, it's just the effect I have. You've got to live. Everyone's got the crosses to bear, Andy. So just for everyone, if you are an ex-veteran, it's at HMF Veterans OAFC on Twitter. So if you want to get in touch, please do, and they'll look after you.
Yeah, and then you boys, the Athleticos, put on a great display yesterday. How long did that? How much preparation went into that?
Too long. We
8 hours on the 8 hours on Friday, and we got there at 9 o'clock Saturday morning, and then we had a bit of a setback, didn't we? But we got past it in the end.
Yeah, we finished about 1:30 yesterday in total, so it was about 12-13 hours in total. So. But we started planning this back in May. The original design came up, so we kind of already had an idea what we wanted to do. And then, as usual style with me and Cameron, we left it last minute and started at 1 o'clock.
The day before.
Yeah. So, but the hardest point we actually found was what we thought wouldn't be too difficult was trying to get the rope over the post on the top of the stand to do the pulley system. It took 5 hours on Friday, to get a bottle with a bit of rope over that post. To which we managed to tie it together on Friday night and then turn up on Saturday. And unfortunately, somebody had taken it down, thinking somebody had just chucked it up there. So then they had to spend another half an hour to an hour on Saturday morning trying to get the rope back up again. So so that was our last minute close call that we might have been calling it off on Saturday morning after 8 hours on Friday. But yeah, I mean, it was all worth it in the end. It came out better than obviously I think me and Cammy expected. And yeah, it just looked fantastic. But yeah, it was a lot of work. Yeah.
It did look good from there. I was sat in the Joe Rowell stand, and it did look excellent. So credit to you. It definitely made a statement, and it was very respectful and very well. It came across as very well organised. So well done, guys.
I'm glad it looked that way anyway.
Yeah, it did. I saw. Obviously, I wasn't there. I saw the pictures. I thought it looked brilliant. And I think even one or two of the 20 odd Eastleigh fans that turned up were quite complimentary of it as well. So yeah, well done. Who's got the arts and crafts skills to cut that shape out to make it look so accurate? Who's done that?
That was me. Freehand. Some scissors.
Freehand. It's excellent work. I tell you what, you've missed your vocation in life there. Unless you work in the creative industry, that's what you want to be doing. It's excellent bit of work. Yeah. So anyway, back to the game. There was to be a few people there were I think optimistically predicting a win. I went with a 1-1 draw on Owen the Blues prediction league, so I picked up points for that. Cameron's told us what Dave. Elaborate a bit more on what was the formation. What was the formation?
First half was 4-4-2 with Dan Gardner on the right wing. So I knew from then we were in trouble in that first half, and then we got a corner in the first 2 minutes. Excuse me, and Dan Gardner p-rolled it into the side netting, and then that was like strike 2 for me. Then Eastleigh started running through the midfield as if nobody was there, and that was strike 3. And it was just like, here we go again. We couldn't put 2 or 3 passes together. We were so poor, and we get to the edge of their area and then start going backwards. And the standout for me yesterday was, I know he gets pelters, but God, did we miss Nathan Sherrin yesterday in that middle of the park. There was nobody breaking up play. They were just running through us. We were putting crosses in to James Norwood and Alex Reid, and Eastleigh had 2 6'5" defenders. They were smoking cigars, sat on Lilos for the first half. Them central defenders. It was so easy for them. It was so one-dimensional and so archaic. This direct approach that we were trying to progress, but after 10 minutes or 15 minutes, surely I was like, why are they not changing it? We could have changed it. Because every time we did get a little bit of passage of play on the floor, Eastleigh couldn't contain it. And in the second half, that's how our goal came, because Kitchen played it along the floor straight to Alex Reid's feet, and we scored from it. So then we reverted to a 3-5-2 in the second half, and I think that shape looked quite well. Freeman, I think, suits a 3-5-2 better than a 4-4-2 because he can bomb forward, and that extra man in the defence at the back can cover for Freeman, because when he goes forward, he just can't get back. He hasn't got the legs. Kitchen looked absolutely shattered by about 80 minutes. He was walking. Everyone was strolling about. I think as well, it was a penalty to Eastleigh. I thought he caught the man before the player, so I think that's why it was given. The referee was. He was so bad.
Substandard.
He was just. It was all about him. If Matt Dean was a referee, it would have been him. That's how bad it was. Kidding.
You're saying that because he's not here, Dave?
Absolutely. He'd give me a winger if I'd have said that. But that's what we need, a winger. We were crying out for Devine Green yesterday. I know he's not had the best of form, but we just had no pace. We had no gumption. Willoughby came on. I thought he did well up front. He held the ball better. Norwood couldn't trap a bag of sand yesterday. But then again, I thought Reid was poor until he scored, and it just injected him a bit of life. Fondop came on, was busy as usual. Couldn't stay on side, which was frustrating. It was just very lackluster, and the players just didn't seem up for it, and at all. I thought it was very, very flat, very, very one-dimensional, and Eastleigh had just come for the point, and when they scored, they just put 10 men behind the ball. And I know it's hard to play against 10 men behind the ball, but we were just playing into their hands all the time, and they nearly had a chance to finish it. We have to give Mark Shelton a shout out because he came on. Everyone was a bit underwhelmed by him appearing. And
were people booing again?
They weren't booing. There was a boo after his first pass, which led to Eastleigh then breaking and nearly putting it wide. I just felt so sorry for the lad because I thought it's just not working for him. You know, the first pass he made, he passed it.
I believe there were audible boos and Cameron Ryan.
Yeah, in the Rochdale Road end when he come on. I don't know where it was. It felt like it was to our right, like in the A block. There was a couple of boos, which I'll be honest. I mean, you go on Twitter. I am not Mark Shelton's biggest fan at all. But like booing your own player onto the pitch, you're setting him up to fail. And then, like Dave said, the first thing he did, he got the ball, turned, and then I don't think he could have placed a better pass to their midfielder. And then they ran through and then was about an inch away from scoring. And it was like, we're here again. I mean, you felt it in the stand when he was lining up next to Fondop, like we could be in trouble here. And I just feel like it's one of them where he's just not worked here. Like we had Owen Doyle who couldn't miss for us. And then he went to Bradford and, he couldn't hit a cow's ass with a banjo to say. But he just... Players are like that, and unfortunately for Shelton, he just hasn't worked here at all. But Hartlepool, they raved about him, but it's as much as we're trying to persist with him, and I think we all want him to come good. Even the ones that don't like him, it would be great if he come out and performed at 8 out of 10 every week, and he was integral to our team. But even when especially when he plays next to Sharon, I feel like Sharon drops off when he plays with him, and it just, unfortunately for him and for us, it really isn't working out for him, no matter how many times we've tried it.
Yeah, I can't get into the psyche of people booing your own player on. If you're doing that, you need to give your head a wobble and have a proper look at yourself because it really isn't helping anybody. But yeah, the lad is really struggling. Can anyone explain to me? So I think Devine Green's injured, Dave, right? I think that's the case. He's carrying an injury. Can anyone explain to me where Nuttall, Sheeran, Ward and Dickinson were yesterday? So I think they're all fit.
Suspended.
Sheeran suspended still, was he?
Yeah.
Okay.
Where the other ones were.
Right, yeah. So where were the other three? Any idea? Because I think they're all fit. So it's interesting that dropped, not in the squad.
Did Dickinson come off injured at Newport? Someone said that, or was it a tactical?
Yeah, he did. No, he came off. He was carrying an injury from Altrincham. He came back. I think he's come back a bit too early because he got subbed in like the 30th minute, didn't he, for Hogan? But Raglan, why don't they give him a go? Give him a go in the three at the back and then put McGahey in midfield. You know what I mean? I don't, because McGahey can play. He was playing some great passes yesterday. For me, Kitchen got man of the match, but I thought McGahey again was outstanding. He was leading, he was talking, because I was sat right at the bottom of the Joe Roll stand that he could hit, and he's there going, turn out, go, forward, take him on, drive. And then I think Kitchen didn't drive, and he went backwards, and he went, and he gave him a right mouthful. But he is a natural leader, McGahey, in the middle. He tells them what to do. He's always talking and always directing play.
Well, he was obviously part of the back three that you talk about in the second half. But I mean, when I looked at that team sheet, I was trying to fathom out what it was. It looked to me like it was 4 at the back, McGahey sat in front of them, followed by 3 in front of that.
It wasn't. It was McGahey and
one of my dad's mates said that.
Yeah, that seems what it looked like. But obviously, I wasn't there to see it, so it was a strange. So then, when I saw Gardner was on the right wing, you're like, for crying out loud, because
I thought it was 4-4-2.
I'm absolutely certain it was. But it just comes back to the same issue, which is we keep putting round pegs in square holes and vice versa, don't we? We are not playing regularly a team of players in their most natural or suited position. We're just trying to, slot them in. I mean, you're talking about needing wingers, and Devine Green's injured. We've let Tollitt go out on loan. So
you got Kofi Moore in the youth system. I know he's a youth player, but he was banging him in at Workington at the start of the season, and I think he played last season, not last season, in Curl's era, and he came on and he put 2 great crosses in. I think Pagiani scored on one of them. I can't remember who the team was who Pagiani scored against, but that was from Kofi Moore, and he played for Curzon in the National League North last season. So why don't you just give him a run? You know, if it doesn't work for one game, so what? It can't get any worse than what it is. And I bet you if the fans saw Kofi Moore play, they'd get right behind him and give the lad a boost. But again, that's difficult.
We've seen from this week in an interview that Mickey Mellon's done with Suzanne Geldard that they're trying to move more players out to get players in, and it seems like they're doing everything they can, but we do have to make space because we are already at the limit in terms of what we're spending on salaries and wages. But it just highlights how horrendously bad recruitment was over the summer, doesn't it? Really, we really haven't done a proper job of identifying all the pieces of the jigsaw that we needed to fill and then getting them in. We've just got this mishmash. So Dan Ward's fit and can't even make the bench. You know, he was one of our signings over the summer. You think he would have been starting every week. The same with Willoughby. I thought Willoughby had scored 10 goals by now. He's barely played 10 minutes in a game. About half an hour yesterday tops, probably his longest time on the pitch nearly. It's not. Recruitment has been really disappointing, and they've really got to sort that out. That's
probably because we signed Norwood. I think the Willoughby situation seems like Norwood was never a plan. We were chasing Willoughby from December when we played Chester. And then we've signed him, we've got him, and everybody was like, right, this was our man, it was our target, it's going to be him. You sort of saw it was going to be him and Nuttall this season. And then we get James Norwood out of nowhere, and the one to make way is the lad we've signed. And it's like, well, and then when we do play him, when Unsworth played him, he played him off the left. And then he come on yesterday and sort of played behind the front two. And I thought his overall game was pretty good up until when he got the chance that he had, which how he didn't even put it on target was just seemed like he's lacking confidence. But to sign the players, and then we've signed Raglan, Ward, Willoughby, all them players can't even catch it in the team that finished 12th in the National League last season. We've signed Raglan, who won League Two with Cheltenham as captain, and all Cheltenham fans were raving about him. And he's caught, he played at Southend, and then I don't know when he's played after that. I really don't. And it's like, well, why have we signed him? Surely he's... I mean, for me, I think the best player we've got by a mile is Sean Hobson. Without that lad, we would be well in the doldrums, because the amount of times yesterday he was doing a sweeper's job. And, when he runs, it's like his legs do about 4 yards to everybody else's 1. He looks like Osman Fanning running, but he just turns up out of nowhere and cleans it all up. He's unreal, that lad.
Thankfully, we've got him on a long contract, because I can see him going in January. There'll be a league club coming in going, there's a couple of $100,000. And depending on the board and where we are in the league, they might have to let him go to maybe make way for some new signings. And then we will be lost, because, in terms of in a comparison to Yarni last season, he's just so controlled, so concise. He knows exactly where everything is on the pitch, and he drives forward as well. When we're stuck in a phase of play, he just goes forward and makes things happen. He's class him. He's probably our player of the season so far.
Should we have a little listen to? You did a brief interview with Mickey Mellon yesterday, Dave. Just have a little listen to that.
Mickey, Boundary Park alert system. Frustrating day, and I bet you're waiting for that home win, aren't you, for the manager?
Of course you are, but we haven't been beaten, so we have to look at the positives. We have to look at it and say that we had a lot of chances there that we could have changed the whole atmosphere in the ground and the way that we felt as players if we take them at crucial times. And then we're getting away some really, really cheap goals at the minute. Another penalty kick, I don't know if it is. I don't know. Again, I think it's difficult as well with the referees. I mean, the amount of stoppage time and the how fussy they are. I mean, I think one incident took it must have been 3 or 4 minutes before we got going again, and then you just seem to be running all around the place, want to talk to everybody, and that can be difficult for us, because we're a team here with expectations to go and play good football and win, so it can become frustrating for everybody when you keep stop-starting it. But no, we know where we want to get to. We know what good looks like, and we know that we're still a work in progress to get to there.
Just touching on the referee, we won't stay too long on that, but do you think some referees come in and try and make a name for themselves? Because it's a big venue, it's going to be a big home crowd. Do you think they put themselves on sort of a pedestal sometimes? Because I know you had a bit of a chat with the referee after the penalty, didn't you? And do you think that comes into
just
it?
Get on with it. They just have to get on with the game. Why are they so fussy? Why are we talking about the referee? We should be talking about football. Yeah. And too often we're talking about referees, and I don't want to be standing here as if I'm complaining about my team's performance, because I know what we should have done better. But he certainly affected it. He certainly affected the way the game was played, and I'd rather the players affected the game. I'd rather the players did what they needed to do in order to make an impact in the game when we were talking about them. But I think the referees are having too big an influence on how the game's played, and that's. But
it affects the players in the same instance.
It affects the crowd. It affects everything. And it just takes too long, and that's difficult. But listen, I'm going to get back. I'll get back to us. What we need to do. We need to take our chances. We need to defend better. We know that there's work to be done in order for us to be the Oldham that we all want to see. So. I have to acknowledge that with the supporters who will no doubt be watching this. I understand that there's work to be done, and I'm not standing here saying that I am absolutely delighted where we were at. No, I'm pleased. I'm delighted to beat the football club. I understand the job to be done, and I know what has to be done to get us there, and we'll keep working forward towards that.
Thanks, Mickey.
Thanks, guys.
What do you think of Mickey Mellon, Ryan, so far?
It's an hard one. I always think people do need time when you just, you do start a new job anywhere, whether you're in football or not. It's not the easiest thing to do, to settle in straight away, and especially when everybody's eyes on you. You're the main boss that's come in. You got to get the results straight away. I think it's hard after we've had Steve Thompson, who his record was unbeaten in 6, won 3 of them, and maybe you could say, 3 wins in a row and then 3 draws in a row. Okay, right, well, we need to appoint somebody. I did think it was a bit strange, though, when you've just gone 6 unbeaten, to want to change something as soon as possible. But maybe, Mickey Mellon was already lined up before, Unsworth went, which, I'd like to think they were organised enough to think, right, we need to start looking before we sack him anyway. I think the other positive I can take up to now is we brought in a manager with experience, which, let's face it, has been such a long time since we've done something like that. Somebody with experience of this division, and of managing as well is definitely important. So I think it will come to, and I think it's about time we did get somebody in with experience to have that bit of desire to go for something. But I mean, I think before yesterday, the last game I went to was the Fylde game, and that was just something else. I've seen us play bad, but that was really, really something else that I've never seen before. But the other thing I've found is sometimes a lot of the players just don't seem to have the heart in it, and I don't know whether that's come from the manager or not, or whether the fact that they've been managed 3 times this season by 3 different managers. So I think there's still a lot to go on. It would have been nice just to have a nice settled squad for this season. But again, we started terribly this season, so it's one of them. You have to change something. We had such a bad start. But any manager that comes in, you always want them to do well. Nobody wants the manager not to do well, because we all want the club to do well. So I can understand people's frustrations, and let's face it, this is our 2nd season in National League now, and I think we're all hoping this was going to be the bounce back. But it's hard to say at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, some people have been sharing screen. I've not been on Twitter particularly much, but a few people have shared a few screen grabs from me of people shortly after the game, already in effect, saying he's not up to it. You just think to yourself, for crying out loud, you got to give, our view was always give Unsworth as much time as he possibly could to try and turn it around. We felt he'd earned that to the start of this season, at least. It's recruitment that has ultimately cost him his job because, at the end of the day, other than maybe the first couple of games under Thompson and Redfern, where we seemed to discernibly play better, we very quickly reverted to type again, and we're pretty poor. Even though we picked up a win at Kidderminster, we were rubbish in that game, I thought. And then we haven't, other than Rochdale away, we've been pretty turgid again. So it really demonstrates that this squad, it kind of doesn't matter now who the manager is. They can only get the best out of what they've got, which isn't good enough. So they're going to need to move players out to get players in to be able to try to get into those playoff positions. But you look at the table, we're absolutely miles behind Chesterfield, Barnet, Solihull, Bromley, Altrincham in 5th are 8 points in front of us. With a game in hand. So we're already really lost ground on the top 5. So you're looking really at squeezing into 6th and 7th, and we're 5 points off Gateshead in 7th, who absolutely walloped Dorking 6-0 yesterday. So it's going to be a tough task. I'm kind of, my own view is like, hopefully we can squeeze into the playoffs, but I just think it will be quite a difficult thing to achieve without serious change to the squad. How do you feel about it, Cameron?
First of all, I was happy with Mellon being appointed. My first choice was Darrell Clark, but as soon as that were happening, Mellon was. You can't really complain with him off the face of what he's done before, and the way the club is now. Excuse me, with Frank and Darren and the board, and we're stable, we're looking upwards. Realistically, he was sort of the perfect fit. And he's done it before, and he's come in. He's got no players of his own. He's worked with a couple of them before, and I think if you look back to last season, where up until we played Notts County at home when we drew 2-2, where we went down and we fought back. After that, I think we lost like once or twice to the end of the season. Was it something like that? We got battered at Wrexham, which most teams did. But if Unsworth got that out of those players, and even seemingly then they didn't want to play for him, surely it's more of a case of belief in the manager and belief in yourself as a team to get somewhere. We've got a long way of the season. We played 19 games and we've drawn 9 of them. I mean, you look at the games we've drawn, like yesterday, for example, the amount of chances we had to win 2-3-1. You turn 3 or 4 of them draws into wins, and you're looking in the playoffs. So it's completely not written off at all, because last season we went from like relegation to, we had an eye on the playoffs. But I do think he needs players fresh that are going to come in so he can mould them into this team and give them the belief. Whereas, like Ryan said, these players have been managed by 3 different managers already this season. And we seem like we need more of a collective unit as a squad. Because I'll be honest, personally, I don't think there's 22 average teams in this league, and we are one of them. The only 2 decent teams in this league are the top 2. And like anybody can beat anybody. Like Oxford City, who did they beat yesterday? They beat somebody 3-2. Wealdstone beat Rochdale 3-2, and Wealdstone's top scorer is on loan from Rochdale, and he didn't even play. So you never know what you're getting in this league. Like, it is just everything about it is rotten. Like, it's so poor. The referee, the performance of everybody. So there's no reason why. Like, say we string 2 wins together, 2 or 3 wins together in the Mellon. That might be the catalyst. Like, I don't think this squad's good enough to stay up next season. But maybe if we can get into the playoffs, it might just give us that boost going into next season. Be like, right, we've done it. Let's get a couple of more additions. Let's recruit properly, and let's go for it next season. Because you look at who's bottom end of League 2 already. You're looking at Sutton, Forest Green, and Tranmere, and all them 3 clubs at the moment are, they're not having the best of times on and off the pitch. So there's no reason why. I mean, we could fluke it this year. You never know, but I don't want to write this season off at all.
No, it's definitely not. It's definitely not over. I just kind of sort of tempered my hopes and expectations a bit. Based, you say 19 games. It's almost halfway through the season. We're only 4 games off halfway. So the table's set now. You can see who's good and who's not, and there's no way without bringing in additions. And we all know where they are, the middle of the park. People who can pass the ball primarily. We should have enough up front, and we should have enough at the back to be able to compete. So it's in the middle and wide players that we need to solve. But it depends whether they're available or not, or how much they're going to cost if they are. And that's the issue. That summer is the time to make the signings when there's so many players out of contract at a level where we can track them. So yeah, it's difficult. Did any of you guys go to the meet the manager in the week?
Yeah, I did. As well, just before that, someone said on Twitter yesterday, and I thought it was quite, a bit worrying that, we're all looking up. We're looking to get into the playoffs, as we should. But we're only 6 points off the relegation zone now. So that is a massive, considering we haven't won in 4, it's, you don't want to be getting dragged into that. But yeah, I went to meet the manager, and me, my dad and his mate went. And it was just exactly what you'd expect a manager to say, I think. They're never going to come out and, tell you the real issues, what's going on. I asked the question about the youth team, about what play are we looking at using any of the youth players? Because I think it is important, like you said before, Dave, we've got Kofi Moore, who played a couple of years ago, and he's got everything to prove, that lad. If he gets in the team, he's going to want to keep himself there. And he started really well at Workington. I know it's not this level, but considering we've got one right midfielder or one right winger and one, I don't think we've actually got an out-and-out left winger. Why are we not giving him a go? And I asked the question. I said, "Is there a plan for the youth players?" And the answer was, the work. They are working in training with the first team. There's a few of them there, and obviously the ones that are out on loan. And they have impressed them so far. And if they feel like they're going to make a difference, then they'll be put in. But it felt like the same questions were being asked, just in a different way. And then there was questions like, "What's your favourite pizza top?" And it's like, I paid a tenner for him to tell me he didn't like pineapple on pizza. Like, what's the point? I felt like asking him if it was to kick off in a bar, who's in first, you or Brabin? And I asked the groundsman, and without hesitation, it was like Brabin all day. Like, see, them are the questions I want. But yeah, it was. I think it's exactly what you'd expect to hear from a manager's forum. He's trying, he knows what he wants, and he'll work hard to get there. And it was that for an hour, basically, an hour and a half.
Do you think, because he seems like a very measured sort of guy, doesn't he? And I think he's analysing, and I think he won't rush his decisions, Mellon. I think compared to the likes of maybe Unsworth, where it's like, right, we need a defender, let's sign Yanni. We need this player, let's sign him. We need another player, let's sign him. Do you think he's just taking a bit more of a measured approach? And obviously, with our fans' expectations, there's a lot of impatience, and quite rightly so, because we don't want to be in the National League. But I think we need that level-headedness, because he doesn't seem like an emotional guy. He seems very matter of fact. He speaks very well, and he looks you in the eye, and he's very, very focused when he's speaking to you. So I think he knows exactly what we need, but I think he's just taking baby steps to get there. But then there's the worry that we're 6 points off relegation, and I'm sure that if it did start getting to that stage, he might be making these decisions quicker.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. He does. It was probably one of the driest of the meet the managers in a while. He sort of didn't give much away. He was quite considered. He kept in control of it. So I don't. It's quite difficult to judge. I guess sometimes if the manager's more emotive, he can get a bit more. If you think about like Dino Maria when he was stood in front of everyone, he was sort of like a rabble-rousing sort of speech, wasn't it? But I guess Mellon's much more measured. He's taking his time. We have to back him. He's got a 3-year contract, so he's pointless moaning about it. And just giving him time and seeing what he can bring in and change it. And my cousin sent me a message in the week. She said, I see the Unsworth doesn't wave at us mob have turned into the James Norwood doesn't smile gang. it's just the way. I think Mellon answered, didn't he? It's just the way he is. James Norwood is it's just his character. Has worked with him before. I think people have just got. We're going to have to be patient. There's nothing we can do about it. I keep reminding myself that the club is solvent and comfortable, and we're in a good place, and it will turn. And when it does, my God, are we going to enjoy it, aren't we? When it eventually turns. Yeah, exactly.
He did smile yesterday, Norwood. I saw him. We got a corner in the first half, and he was chatting to their centre half, and I saw him crack a smile. So I think, why are we all panicking? What's the point? He's still our top scorer, regardless if he wants to take his shirt off and swing it around every time, or if he wants to just walk back to the centre circle. Like Reed scored yesterday, he was the only one who walked back. It was like, who cares? Like, I don't even think he's, like Mel said, he doesn't even know half the time what he's doing. So he said he's not the sharpest tool in the box. But if he's scoring, who's bothered? Like, who is bothered?
Yeah, exactly. But we've got to create for him. Anyway, are you two boys any good at quizzes?
I've been trying to prepare for this, and
right. So we'll do a bit of a first though, because you come as a pair, because you are we're going to let you answer as the Athleticos. So either one of you can answer, right? So whoever thinks they know the answer, then shout. I guess for a pass. If someone shouts pass, we'll just pass and move on. But good luck. Let's see how you get on Latics Mind. Who scored a brace at Blackburn in February 2018?
Duckins there's on.
Correct. Which England under-20 international did Latics sign from Notts County on deadline day in 1999?
Craig Dudley.
Correct.
He was the driving instructor.
What colour was Latics away kit in 2018-19?
White.
Correct. Who scored the winner against Chesterfield on the final day of 2006-2007 to seal our place in the playoffs?
Oh, come on, Ryan, you've got to give me something.
I'm depending on you here.
Oh, Andy Liddell.
Chris Porter. What is Frank Rothwell's primary company called?
It's not Cabins. It's Manchester Cabins.
Correct. Mickey Mellon scored a late equaliser against Latics in a 2-2 draw versus Tranmere in September 2002. Can you name one of the Latics goal scorers that day?
Corazin.
Nope. Darren Sheridan and John Eyre. Who wore the number 7 shirt for Latics in the 2020-21 season?
Oh, hang on. No, it's not. No, it's not. How long have we got?
Do you want to pass?
No, because I want to get it.
You run out of time.
Oh, yeah, pass.
Pass. Who was Simon Blitz and Simon Corney's other business partner who completed the purchase of the started to finish? Completed the purchase of the club in 2003.
Danny Gazelle.
Danny Gazelle, correct.
He got one. Well done, right?
He got one at the end. Right. I'll tell you what, lads. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 correct. That is pretty good. It's all down to Ryan.
All the credit here.
Take the credit there, Ryan. Yeah, all down to Ryan. You passed on one.
I know the question. I know it.
Who wore the number 7 shirt in 2021? Season we went down out of the Football League. Sexy Dave Bradley, do you know?
It was...
Who did you say then?
George Blackwood.
George Blackwood, correct, yeah.
Was it? Oh, was it? All right. Okay.
Price above.
That is very, very good, gentlemen. You've not disgraced yourself at all. You're going to be quite high up there. Excellent work.
Can Can I just say something? We've got a 92-year-old listener who's just found the pod this week because his son came up to me at the ground yesterday. He's called Jim Hollingworth, and he loves it. He listens to the phone in, the Boundary Pack, and the Oldham Community Radio as well. So he's proper into it. So hello, Jim. So thanks for listening. Jim.
Yeah, great to have you on board. We have we do sort of in terms of the listener numbers, they're growing all the time gradually. But there's kind of two demographics that we miss out on. We miss out on the older lot, and we miss out on the younger lot. And in the middle, it's the middle-aged group that we do quite well on. So if you want to spread the word amongst the Athleticos and spread the word amongst the main stand-upper fans, then we can continue to grow those numbers. Those are the people we miss. Yeah, so as we bring this episode to a close, has anyone got anything else they want to add or say from yesterday or generically about the club?
Just the awards ceremony on Thursday night, Andy. We could be coming back as winners.
Oh, yeah, good luck.
Yeah, that's this Thursday night at Anfield, which is really unhelpful for me. Yeah. So me, you, and Matt will be up there, hopefully trying to pick up an award. Did you see the City Extra podcast picked up our award this year? So Stockport missed out on it again. Hard luck, lads. I know they listen sometimes.
They don't win everything, do they?
No, they don't win everything. They definitely don't. But yeah, wish us luck, and hopefully we'll bring home another award next week.
There is a rumour that Mike Fondop's going on The Voice as well. Did you hear his lovely chant in the week?
Oh, that was fantastic. That was unbelievable.
Man of many talents, goal scorer. Well, not this season, but goal scorer. Busy in the area, but yeah, definitely a singer. 10 out of 10 from me.
Yeah. Anyway, right. Thank you, Cameron and Ryan, the Athleticos, for coming on this podcast. It's been great to speak to you both. Thanks, Dave. Tune in to the phone in on Wednesday.
No, it's cancelled. It's cancelled this week. Yeah. We're going getting our back sacks and cracks done for the award ceremony on Wednesday night, mate. So we're not doing one this week.
Right, that's enough. I've got to end it there. See ya.
Thank you for listening to the Boundary Park Alert System, a QPod production hosted and produced weekly by Matt Dean, Andy Halliwell and Dave Bradley. QPod is Oldham's only dedicated podcast production company, and if you'd like to learn more about how podcasting can help take your brand to the next level, visit kupod.co.uk. A huge thank you goes to all those people who subscribe to the podcast on Spotify. We really appreciate you all. Please visit oafcpodcast.co.uk and click Be a Supporter or find the link in the show notes if you'd like to help us fund the show. It's only $2.99 per month to subscribe, but if you'd rather make a one-off donation, please visit buymeacoffee.com/OAFC podcast or click the link on our website. Don't miss the Latics football phone-in every Wednesday live from 8:30pm. Please visit youtube.com/@OAFC podcast and do hit subscribe while you are there. You can also follow and interact with us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram and TikTok @OAFC podcast. Big thanks go to Eileen Finnegan for writing our excellent weekly blog, which we encourage you to read on our website every Saturday morning, and also to Paul Prendergast for providing us with all the Latics Mind questions. The title music for the show is by Manchester DJ and producer Starion, and for more information visit bandcamp.com/Red Laser Records. If you'd like to be a guest or contribute to the show, we would love to hear from you. Until then, see you next time.